G'day guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's bloody good stories, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie. Let's get right into it. Let's go. Posted by user Jada Luz, titled, "My partner's mother lied and my family took his side." 3 days ago, my partner, 32 male, his mother, and I, 25 female, we've been together for 8 years, on and off, were on our way to his sister's house for her daughter's birthday. Just the night before, my partner and I had an argument about kids. Nothing new lately. He wants one, and we've been trying for a few months now. Anyway, I said we need to see a doctor. He believes that we are both healthy and young, and if anything, we're doing something wrong. I was already exhausted from work and wanted to have some rest, so I didn't argue much, which only made him even more angry. I sat up and let him have his moment, and then slept. The next day, we went to pick up his mother. I tried to start a conversation, but he just kept nodding. Now, with his mum with us in the car, I tried my best to lighten the mood so she doesn't feel uncomfortable. 5 minutes or so into it, he said, "Can you shut your mouth for a minute? I don't want to hear your voice." His mother asked him what's wrong. All I said was, "I know what's wrong with him." He stopped the car and yelled at me since I know what's wrong, then I for sure know what an immature biatch I am for starting a discussion with no intention to communicate. Mind you, he was the one who started it and refused to lower his voice and sit down so we could communicate like an adult. All this time, his mother in the back seat was just watching. Growing up in a house where everyone yells to prove their points, I hate raised voices. And him screaming at me for an argument we had yesterday on our way to a birthday party that we are supposed to enjoy made me lose it and snapped at him, "Can you stop effing screaming? Can't we talk about this when we're back home?" He grabbed my face and told me to never talk to him this way, especially in front of his mother. To this moment, she has said nothing. His grip on my jaw kept getting worse with every word. He's done this before, but never used this much force. So to take his hand off of me, I tried to grab his wrist and push, but I ended up scratching him a little. I swear to God I didn't mean to, I just couldn't bear the pain and wanted him to let go. His mother suddenly decided to use her voice and started yelling at me for hurting him and got out of the car and went to his side to check his wrist. I wanted to check his wrist too, but I was afraid of him losing it even more. He brushed it off and told his mum that it was nothing and started the car again, drove straight back home, and he went straight to the guest room. I decided to spend the next night at my parents' house to decide what to do. My mother and his are friends. Anyway, I didn't say anything, but they told me later that night that his mother visited in the morning and told them about the fight. The first thing she told them is that we had an argument, without mentioning how he started it and wouldn't stop with all the screaming, and how he grabbed my face, and only told them about me scratching him. Now my family is lecturing me about how I should respect him and consider starting counseling. By family, I mean my mother and little brother. My dad didn't say anything. I told them how it went and tried to show them the bruise on my jaw, but they wouldn't listen because his mother can't possibly lie to them, and the boy they watched growing up cannot be this bad. But the daughter they raised can lie and be this bad? For God's sake, they know how I don't tolerate raised voices, and I avoid heated arguments at any cost. But no one listens to me now, except for my big brother, who him and my soon-to-be ex are close friends. What hurt me is that, instead of at least comforting me, they're taking his side while they saw him raise his voice before and call his co-workers names. Is it because my little brother brought his girlfriend home and they gave her a room so she can be close to college, and scared that if I break up with him, I would come back home to stay with them and ruin everything? I have a stable job and can take care of myself. I want to go back to break up with him and pack my things, but I can't even look him in the eye right now for what he's made me go through. He called and texted, but like I said, I don't even want to hear his voice. He apologized for what he did in a few texts. I'm thinking about showing them to my family, but I feel sad that I need to do that so that they can support me emotionally. All my things are over there, and I've never done this before because he's my first everything. I'm mad that his mother lied for him while my family didn't even listen to me. I'm thinking screw them all, except my big brother. In the comments, DewConnection179 says, not the asshole, and you need to break up with this dude. It may be a little awkward for a little bit with your mum and his mum being friends, but in no way can you let this dude put his hands on you and scream in your face like that, especially in front of people. Please get out of this relationship before he escalates any further. Abusive. Plus, he was 24 and she was 17 when they got together. OP literally never got to be an adult without this creep. And apparently her parents were okay with this? Whatever you do, OP, prioritize safety. Don't go back unless you're with a trusted friend and/or ask the cops to be present while you get your stuff. All of that is far more important than your useless family. That your parents were okay with this asshole hitting on you when you were 17 and he was 24 tells me all we need to know about them. Unfortunately, they are not the people on whom you can rely. First things first, stay safe and do not go back to this creep. Take some time to be single as an adult. Learn who the hell you are. Stay out of relationships for a while. Listen to your own brain and make friends with yourself. He is actively pushing her to have a baby. She needs to get away before he's successful. Did he have other relationships, and how did he behave towards those girls? He's becoming more violent against you and having the confidence to do it in public. This is just not good at all. And he knows now that his mum will lie for him, and he will always have a gang at his back to berate OP and help him beat her down. This is headed in a very bad direction. Boyfriend's mum will get to raise her baby however she wants. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I feel like this is just another victim of domestic violence and potentially domestic homicide in the making. You know, you got all the little trappings of the family completely on his side because, oh, how could he do any wrong? He's an angel. Yeah, he's had a few arguments and been a kind of a dick to people, but surely that would never escalate to him hurting you or physically threatening you. No, I didn't see any of that in front of my eyes, you liar. My son didn't do that right in front of me. OP, you have a full-time job. That is very much a blessing in this situation. You're not pregnant, and you're not burnt by this guy any more than you need to be. I think at this point, you just restraining order, disappear from everyone's lives, and rest and refresh with some therapy. That is like the best way to go about this, is it not? Not to mansplain, but like please look after yourself. And now, onto the update. So the night that I shared that post, I didn't sleep a wink, but I had to go to work anyway. I didn't want to go back to my parents' house, but I had nowhere to go, which made things even more complicated. I was tired and all I wanted to do was sleep, but my younger brother wouldn't let me. He kept trying to talk about it and repeated the things that his mother told them. I literally felt like my eyes were going to shut on their own from exhaustion. Suddenly, I felt his hand under my chin, and when I looked up, his face was so close to mine, checking the bruise, and I pushed him. I know what I did is wrong, but at that moment, he wasn't my younger brother or anyone that I know. I don't know how to explain this part, but it was sudden, and I didn't realize what was happening, I guess. I just don't know why I did push him. Not too hard, but enough to make him back off a little. I think lack of sleep messed with my head, but still. When I realized what was happening, I apologized immediately, but he didn't take it well. My mother told him it's okay, she's just exhausted, and then said, "Why didn't you just show us the bruise yesterday?" I told her, "That's exactly what I tried to do, but you wouldn't listen." In her defense, it was covered with makeup and didn't look that bad. Okay. She said my partner and I need to sit down and sort things out, and that I should apologize for the scratch too. I did the moment that it happened. She also offered to call and ask him to come tomorrow so that we could talk and fix things. I was so tired that I didn't want to argue with her, so I just grabbed my things and got out. I'm writing this post from my hotel room. It's temporary. Yes, I have a stable job, but can't afford to stay here long. I need to be careful with my money since I'm going to need to find myself a place, buy furniture, and other things. I sent him a long descriptive text where I mentioned everything that happened that day. I even mentioned how it wasn't the first time, but this one left a bruise, including the scratch, and apologized for it again. Everything just like one of you advised me to do, and I got a response. So I guess it's something? My big brother made it clear to me that he doesn't care if they are close friends, family comes first, and that he will bring a friend with him to help me pack my things when I am ready. He also offered for me to stay with him as long as I need to, but I can't do that. He and his fiancée had a baby recently, and her mother's staying with them to help for a few months. I don't want to make things hard for them. The only friend that I have is on a business trip. She was supportive and said that I can stay with her when she comes back on Saturday, so I'm waiting for now. She's the only friend that I have that I can trust. I never felt the need to have more than one, since him and I used to do pretty much everything together. I can't help but feel like I'm overreacting. I do want to leave and act on it, but then again, this thought keeps crossing my mind that he's not always like this. I know that I'm an idiot just sharing this with you because I can't be this honest with my brother, and definitely can't say this to my family either. My brother advised me not to answer his calls and texts until I leave, so I don't give him a chance to talk me out of this. My father called me this morning and apologized for not saying anything. He offered money, $1,500, but I don't think I should accept it. By the way, he loves my mother to death, and for him, whatever she says goes, since forever. So to be honest, I'm not disappointed that he didn't stand up for me that day. At least he didn't try to shut me up. For now, I'm getting any paperwork I might need. Thanks to my big brother, and for the commenters, I now know better. I feel I should clarify something. Yes, we dated for 8 years, but we didn't become exclusive until I was 18. He actually waited. It was my older brother's idea, though. His only condition was that nothing would happen between us until I turned 18. You know what I mean by nothing. I think that because they were close friends, and knowing that my brother was against it all at first, made him keep his promise. That's all. I'll try and give a final update when I sort everything out. Thank you again. In the comments, EmuJune9390 says, I feel like I should clarify something. Yes, we dated for 8 years, but we didn't become exclusive until I was 18. He actually waited. He didn't wait. He groomed you. This is all so disturbing. Your family is so wrong. Please move in with your friend and cut your family off completely. They are encouraging you to stay with someone who laid hands on you, and now that he knows that he will get support from your family when he abuses you, it will only get worse. Your family is gross and abusive as well. Get away from all of these people as fast as you can. There is a better life out there for you. There are better people out there. How many times do you have to apologize for an accidental defensive scratch? Any man grabs my face, I would scratch his eyes out. Once someone lays hands on you, you are allowed to defend yourself. No apologies. There is a better life out there for you if you can muster just enough courage to get away and cut contact now. OP says, I do realize this now. I'm working on everything you mentioned. I just hope that everything works out well. Thank you. By I just hope everything works out well, I'm guessing you mean leaving him, right? 'Cause you know this won't be the last time it'll happen if you continue this relationship. Ditch his ass and do it with someone around you as well. Don't be alone with him no matter what happens. Even if he says he would like to speak with you alone, do not accept unless someone is with you, and only if it is in public. Good luck, stay safe. Yeah, what is this next level victim abuse mentality coming from her own family, saying, you obviously scratched him in bad faith, you just lashed out of nowhere. Because, women just attacking men in relationships like that is very common and definitely not an unusual thing. Let's just ignore all his past behaviors that were red flags, and that OP never really showed red flag violent behavior or, derogatory behavior at all like that. It just makes complete sense that she started an argument with him out of nowhere and just scratched the shit out of him. Ignore the bruises on her either. She did that before. Totally makes sense, OP's family, you pieces of shit. I don't understand how they're still kind of defending him in this one. Like, what's going on? Let's sit you down with your abusive boyfriend. I'm sure that's really going to fix everything and he's going to see the error of his way. And it won't continue in the future. With the way that OP's family is currently acting and everyone else around OP, besides the brother, they're all going on the list of people whose graves I'm going to piss on in the future. And now, onto our latest updates. Hi, I don't know where to start. To be honest, I completely forgot about updating until I got a notification a few days ago from someone asking if I got away. Thank you. A few days after my last update, my brother and a friend of his went with me to pack my belongings. Thank God they did, because we found his mother there too. My ex kept asking to talk with me in private, but both my brother and his friend told him to stay whatever he wanted with them in the room. He apologized and asked me to give him another chance, with his mother telling him to man up and stop begging the whole time. I called my friend to thank her again and let her know that I would be staying with my brother for the time being. I stayed with him for 2 weeks. Honestly, I didn't expect his mother-in-law to be that kind. Both she and her daughter, my brother's fiancée, were good to me. I tried to help with the baby, which helped me keep my mind off things a little and not feel like I was in the way. I mentioned in my original post that my ex and I were trying for a baby. I also mentioned in my first update how I felt tired all the time. I thought it was because I was going through a tough time, but I didn't know that I was pregnant until I miscarried. With everything going on, I didn't pay attention to my period. I started having period-like cramps the night before. I continued to have cramps the next day, which turned into bleeding, and it was like having a bad period, but the bleeding continued to worsen over the course of the day. I probably wouldn't have even thought that I was pregnant if my sister-in-law hadn't told me that I might be miscarrying. I was 6 weeks along. Other than the miscarriage, which I'm still a little shaken by, everything has been good with me. I found myself a place 30 minutes from work. I'm adjusting, and the last time he showed up at my work was a week ago or so. 2 of my coworkers told him to never show up again since he has no reason to be there, and he never has since. I'm no contact with my mother and younger brother. She tries to reach me through my older brother, but he told me that it's better if I stay no contact for at least a few months. When I posted, I was more focused on his mother lying to my family, but the real issue was him doing that in front of her. If she hadn't visited and lied, I probably wouldn't have told my family and never posted here. So I would have never known that that's not how things work, and that's not how my partner should treat me. I sometimes think about my ex. I know I seem weak, but I've known him for so long, and he was my first everything. But now I don't have to worry about a lot of things. I wake up relaxed and don't have to worry about messing something up. By the way, my first therapy session is this Tuesday. That's all. Thank you. In the comments, the filthiest fingers says, "Not the asshole at all. It's completely understandable that you're feeling shaken by everything that you've been through, including the miscarriage. Sorry to hear about that, by the way. It's important to prioritize your own well-being and take the time that you need to heal. It's great that you're taking steps like going to therapy to take care of yourself. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness in any relationship. Keep focusing on yourself and your own happiness, and things will get better with time. You're doing great, and I'm rooting for you. I'm sorry about your miscarriage, but so happy with the rest of your updates. You've got a lot to be thankful for. Your freedom, your own place, and an 8-year mistake in the rearview mirror. You have a support system in your brother and sister-in-law and co-workers that have your back. I think your brother's right. Stay no contact with your mother for a few or many months, or as long as she's still friends with ex's mummy dearest. Younger brother too. You don't mention your dad. Is he supportive since he sides with your mum? Be happy, but stay aware of your surroundings for a while. Your ex spent a long time grooming you into someone that he had control over. He may not be happy that you walked away from him. Give yourself some time to heal and recover emotionally, and then be ready to get out socially with friends. I'm not saying to jump into a new romance. Take your time. You'll know when you're ready for that. You were so young when you got involved with your ex that your instincts may need some time to catch up to the new you. Pay attention to them. He hurt her because he felt like he had a right to punish her for embarrassing him in front of his mother. I'm so glad that she got out. Behavior like this always escalates. They feel more and more comfortable punishing you as if you were a child, and your behavior is something that is their responsibility to correct. It's effing disgusting. Jesus Christ. This whole entire family deserves to rot and burn away. Minus the older brother and his in-laws. Squeezing her chin so hard that it bruises is way too close to choking for my comfort. I'm glad that OP got out. Her mother and younger brother are scum. I know it's traumatizing to have a miscarriage, but I can't help feel like that was the universe freeing her from that horrid, horrid man. Imagine if she had to spend 18 years co-parenting with a man who put his hands on her when he's mad. I'm glad her older brother has her back. I am so glad she isn't going through it all alone. And I'm glad too, OP. I'm so glad that you got out of there and did right by yourself. Because, as I said before, it was going the way of you being another statistic, and really you have to take the most dramatic and drastic action to save yourself in instances like this. You saying that he is also off your back when he showed up at your work a week ago is so concerning though. He is not off your back. This man is still stalking and obsessed with you. A week is not that long a time frame to be like, okay, he's done with me forever for real. Honestly, get a restraining order and document this shit as much as you can before, he takes more dramatic action because he feels like he still has ownership over you. That man is dangerous. Our next post is by user EnoughRepeat654, titled, Am I the asshole for not inviting my mum to my birthday party? My mum got pregnant with me by accident when they were in school, and this caused a lot of problems for both my parents because they had to continue school while taking care of me. And shortly after I was born, my mum just moved all of a sudden, and my dad had to look after me all alone. Around last year, my mum, 31 female, suddenly reached out to me, 14 female, and my dad, 31 male, asked if she could meet me. So I started seeing my mum every month and met my grandparents, and they were all very nice to me. My dad kind of hates my mum. Like he doesn't say it, but it's obvious when he never wants to be near her and is reluctant every time I go to meet my mum. And I learnt that it's because my mum was a drunk when they were younger and was a really bad person. But I think she's changed now. In a while, I will turn 15 and I'm going to have a small party to celebrate, and I'm only having my granny, my dad's mum, and my best friends over. My mum found out that it was my birthday soon and called to ask my dad what we'll be doing, and he told her that she didn't need to come. And my mum was mad, and her parents called me and my dad to try to convince us. So my dad asked me if I wanted her there, and I honestly don't think that we're close, so I said no. Now my mum is really hurt, and she doesn't want to meet me anymore because she says that she needs time away from us. When I called her, her parents picked up, and they told me to leave her alone. I feel bad because I think she's really hurt, and I don't know if I should have sucked it up and just let her go to my party. My dad said, good riddance, but I'm afraid that I'm actually in the wrong, but I don't know it. Am I the asshole? In the comments, Jeepers Creepers 74 says, not the asshole. You are the child, your mum is the adult. As the kid in this situation, it is not your job to make your mum feel good about herself or where she stands with you. It is your mum's duty to repair this relationship, to look out for your feelings, and to give you space when needed. If she's not willing to assume these responsibilities, she's not ready to be back in your life. That's on her, not you, and you should not feel guilty about it. As for your grandparents, they are fostering this bad behavior on your mum's part by treating the two of you like school friends who should be forced to invite each other to parties so nobody's feelings get hurt, rather than parent and child. They are unwilling to hold her accountable for the harm that she's caused, and therefore, their opinion is meaningless as well. Despite these unfortunate circumstances, it sounds like you have a lot of people who love you in your life. Happy birthday and enjoy your party. Exactly this. And for the grandparents, where were they while their daughter just dropped everything and abandoned her baby and disappeared? I wouldn't worry about anything that they say or feel. They obviously wanted nothing to do with her either, unless her mother was involved. I don't think I would be able to let myself get close to them or let my guard down where we would only ever have an acquaintance relationship so that they wouldn't have the power to hurt me when they all abandoned me again. Everything about the birther's sulking silent treatment and the grandparents coddling her tantrum just gave me the ick. Children get to pull this crap. Someone who wants back into their child's life after 14 years takes what they can get and bends over backwards to fix even the tiniest bit of pain and havoc that they caused to stay in their child's life. Not the asshole. She may be your mum, but she hasn't seen you for over a decade. You're still slowly getting to know her. Things may eventually gel with you two, or they may not. At this point, she's still a near stranger. It's totally reasonable to limit your birthday attendance to those that you're close to. Your mum does not yet, if ever, fit that definition. Your mum seems to feel that you should recognize her as your mum, as if the decade-plus absence never happened. That's unwarranted, and if she's disappointed about it, it's her own unrealistic expectations at fault. She'll get past it if she really wants to continue building a relationship with you. Not feeling close to essentially a stranger at this point is not an asshole move. Not the asshole. Yeah, she abandoned you for 14 years, OP. Where is the audacity of her and this family coming from? Like, genuinely, who the hell do they think they are to be pulling this shit? Oh, you know what? My daughter's gonna give you the silent treatment now. You know what? We totally are cool with the fact that she abandoned you for 14 years. And you should feel like an asshole because you don't want this strange woman at your birthday party. You're such a piece of shit, OP. You 14-year-old. You should know better than that. You should allow someone that abandoned you to be at your party and be in significant life events and be welcomed back in with open arms. She doesn't need to apologize for shit. She's perfect, okay? Our perfect daughter who runs away from her children. Are they hearing themselves? What is going on? They are pieces of shit, all of them. Not the asshole, OP. And now onto the second post, titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to meet my mum after my grandparents said me and my dad weren't a real family? So my parents had me really young, like 16, and my mum moved away after I was born, so my dad took care of me alone while still in school. I, 14 female, started meeting my mum, 31 female, last year when she came back all of a sudden, and we meet every month. My dad doesn't like my mum and wouldn't talk to her if he could. Recently, my mum and I got into a fight because I didn't want to invite her to my birthday party because we aren't close. So to smooth things over, my grandparents proposed that we all have a family dinner together to celebrate separately. So my dad and I had dinner with them yesterday, and it was a disaster. At first it was fine, but my dad was really uncomfortable, and it was just awkward all around. Then my grandparents started talking about my mum's involvement in my life. Like, maybe you and your mum can go somewhere together. That kind of thing. My mum suggested that she could send me to school in the mornings, which my dad does, and I could tell that my dad was getting annoyed, and he said it's fine, and that she didn't need to do that. Then my grandparents started to get angry and asked why he was so against them, while my mum just looked embarrassed and didn't say anything. And then my grandma said she needs her mother to have a real family. Just her dad is not enough. My dad got so mad that he told me to pack up and that we were going. And when we got home, my dad just locked himself in his room, and I could hear him crying. At that point, I was just angry, so I called my mum and told her that I didn't want to see her ever again. She started crying and tried to apologize, but I hung up on her. She sent me voicemails saying that I shouldn't punish her for what her parents said and that I need to stop overreacting. I don't know if I am being too extreme and overreacting. My dad says I can decide, but he looks conflicted, and my mum crying made me feel kinda bad. So am I the asshole? I don't know if it's justified to stop seeing my mum, even though she didn't say that stuff. It was just her parents. In the comments, quote, then my grandma said she needs her mother to have a real family, just her dad is not enough. That's rich, considering that it was your real mum that abandoned you. Tell grandma that dad has been plenty family, as he's the only one who's actually raised and cared for you for 14 years. Not the asshole. Grandma can just go away. I would suggest leaving the door open for your mum, so long as she understands that grandma et al. Are now on your no contact list, and that's non-negotiable. Don't tell grandma anything. It's probably best for everyone if you don't speak to them again for a very long time, and give seeing your mum a break for a while too. Wait until you see if you find yourself wanting to see her just to see her, and not from a feeling of being obligated to see her. Not the asshole. Saying don't punish me for what my parents said is one thing. Saying that you're overreacting to what your grandparents said is crossing the line. I'd say not the asshole, and when you've cooled off, you may change your mind about seeing your mom. But in my opinion, your mum and grandparents are pushing way too hard, way too soon. It's probably the making up for lost time mindset, but you're 14 now, not the infant that she abandoned. You can develop a relationship, but it should be on your terms. One non-negotiable should be don't ever criticize my dad or say that he and I are not a real family. Not the asshole. For 13-ish years, where has your mum been? Not with you. Who held you when you cried? Who was there for you to celebrate your achievements? Who took care of you when you were sick? Not your bio mum. Your dad has been there for you. Your bio mum showing up and sowing seeds of discontent is disrespectful. Your grandparents, aka your bio mum's parents, are happy to throw your dad away now that their child has decided to be a parent. Your bio mum had the opportunity to tell her parents to back down when they said that your dad isn't enough, but she stayed quiet. How very mature and classy of her. Sarcasm. Now, go hug your dad, tell him that you love him, and let him know that you know he's enough, and then some. Slow down on meeting your bio mum for the time being, and has she ever told you why she abandoned you? OP says, I'm not sure why my mum moved, but my grandparents were unhappy that she got pregnant, so I've just always assumed that it was to get away. Though I don't know if my mum made the decision, so I don't know if she decided to leave or she just followed her parents. And now onto the latest updates. After I cooled down from that day, I thought it over and I read all your comments. So I decided to keep talking to my mum and maybe not my grandparents anymore. Then I talked to my dad about it, and he told me that when my mum and my dad were dating, her parents disapproved of him because he was poorer and his mum was a single mum. My mum's family is kind of classist and didn't like him, so during that time they treated him badly. So that's why he doesn't like my mum's parents, and he still hates my mum for never making contact. He called my mum and told her that she could continue to see me once a month, but I wouldn't meet her parents at all, and she wouldn't take me to school. My mum said okay, and now everything has blown over. She apologized to my dad and me, and now he's trying to tolerate her more. I'm trying to be less mad at my mum because I think she is trying harder, and I'm trying to show my dad that I appreciate him more for all that he has done for me. Thank you all for your advice on what to do. Some of you seemed curious to know what would happen, so here you go. Sorry if I'm updating wrong, I'm not really clear on the format. In the comments, Spin Pin says, you seem incredibly mature for your age. It seems your dad has been raising you right. Good for you for showing him the appreciation he deserves and for icing out the grandparents. They sound toxic and won't contribute any good to your life at all. Your mum seems highly influenced by them, but doesn't seem to have the same mindset. I hope things work out with her, but I would be cautious. Good luck to you and your real family. OP says, thank you. My dad is a great parent. In response to a longer comment with questions, OP says, my mum said that she needed to make up for the bad decisions that she made in the past. I guess she's trying to be a better person now. My dad had girlfriends in the past, but he broke up with them because he said he didn't have time. Thank you for the birthday wish. Imagine not being involved in a child's life for 14 years and completely stumped as to why their parent has reservations about you. Right? It's not like her mum came back when she was 17. She flaked off until she was 31. She got a whole young adult life with no extra responsibilities, while OP's dad raised a kid at 16. And where were the maternal grandparents? Certainly not physically present, since OP only met them. Did they even send child support? These old assholes basically have a lot of nerve and demands for people who had nothing to do with OP up until recently. I'm flabbergasted at the idea that OP's mother, the one who gave birth, found out about her birth date. I'm not a mother, will never be a mother, but even I can't fathom the idea of getting pregnant, giving birth, and then finding out about when the birth occurred. Is there something else that OP maybe doesn't know about, or simply didn't share? Which is her right, of course. Bit of a weird date, but at the same time, maybe OP's mom just vibed out so hard that she completely forgot about OP's birthday. I guess we'll never know the answer. The only questions really that I need answers for here are, was child support being paid and how much? Because if not, if they're being classist assholes and they're not paying child support, really goes to show, like, their character. No, you're below me and we have money and we're better than you, but we're also not going to support our grandchild because we're better than that. That's the energy that I'm getting from them, but that's an assumption. Otherwise, I'm glad that boundaries are being set, and hopefully you in no contact with those good-for-nothing grandparents, OP. All the best for the future. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!